Hey everyone, how are you guys doing tonight? Good, I hope. So I'm going to be trying a little bit something different. I'm going to try putting out a little bit more content, but just maybe a few shorter clips, and then my usual like entitlement videos here and there. So this is the first of my shorter ones, though. Basically, I want to discuss certain things, where I just want to put out a quick idea and then ask you guys what you guys think. So please share with me your opinions, your thoughts, everything, whatever, in the comments. Okay, so this first thing that I want to talk about has to do with the difference in how Katie seems to view perpetrators and why that difference may be, like what's causing that difference. So first I'm going to point out a few things with Josh Duggar, how she's been approaching this. Now, we all know how she is basically salivating at the mouth over the thought of him being punished or shamed in a trial and then punished and thrown in prison for eternity or whatever. I mean, she's giddy about it. She's freaking happy. She's thrilled about this. I mean, she's loving the discussion content too, strangely. Anyway, however, she also shows that she understands how someone like Josh comes to be. And that's what I want to point this out here before we go any further. Like I said, I just wanted to take a minute and just listen to this so we know exactly that she is capable of empathy or understanding with all perpetrators, it seems.
On their kid, taking your kid, you should. It's not that big of a deal. Sexual abuse is rampant, and kids are acting out and doing horrible things, and it's because they're being abused. So if you want to know how does someone like Josh Duggar get created, it's because he's an abused child, and he has been he's an example of probably a zillion other abused boys in this cult that are abused, whether it's physically, emotionally, mentally, sexually, and they learn that everything is the girl's fault and they get away with everything because they're abused by whether it's their parents or a pastor, a teacher, whoever. They take it out on someone else. There are kids I'm finding out in this cult that are torturing.
Okay, so there we heard that she understands how these monsters are created. I don't really know what else to describe them. So she understands that. So she understands this for others, I would assume, right? But either way, she's capable of this understanding. I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so next, I want to read to you one of her older blog posts from Patheos. So here we have one of Katie's older blog posts on Patheos from July 27th, 2018. Okay, now this blog post goes on to say, when the New York Times broke the NXIVM story that included sexual slaves, branding, and forced labor, I became hooked on this story. Initially, I watched documentaries hosted by A&E on the cult and the 48 Hours investigation detailing the same allegations. Over the months, I have scoured the internet for all stories related to NXIVM. While all the outlets share the horrific details of what the cult leaders did to members, I've been hard-pressed to find information about the female leaders in the group. I never watched the Alison Mack on Smallville, and police arrested Alison Mack for her role in the cult. I immediately recognized her face. Instantly, I wondered how such a pretty and petite woman could do such horrific things to other women. Quickly, I realized that not only did she victimize other women, but she too was victimized by Keith Renier. Keith Renier had a history of manipulating people even before he started NXIVM in 1998. In 1989, Keith founded a multi-level marketing company called Consumers Byline. The company promised discounts on products to old customers. They also gave commission to individuals that brought in recruits. By 1994, the state of New York sued Keith Renier for running a pyramid scheme. The court ordered restitution of $40,000. When he founded NXIVM with Nancy Salzman in 1998, he already knew how to run a pyramid scheme, recruit members, and manipulate consumers. Together, they created a series of executive success programs that they pitched to business professionals. The seminars aimed to help business executives continue their success in their career and lives. Like many cults, most don't start out dangerous and destructive. However, the classes taught by Keith Renier helped him to groom and manipulate members to as he pleased. The seminars achieved thought reform of members. NXIVM and Renier targeted Allison Mack in 2006 for her celebrity and poise on camera. According to the Hollywood Reporter, Renier and his crew gave her red carpet treatment. She was love-bombed and given VIP treatment at her first JNS conference. NXIVM had their sights set on her, and over the years she was groomed to enter Renier's inner circle. In the same report, friends described Mack as searching for something more meaningful than acting. She had spent 20 years in acting. In 2006, she was searching for the larger purpose of her life. Mack never attended college, and friends said this led to her feeling insecure. She often sought out other means to expand and obtain wisdom. For a cult leader like Renier, she was the perfect target. Over the years of her involvement in the organization, Renier reformed and changed her thoughts and personality. In her eyes, she believed she was doing good for the planet. Renier was her master, and he had convinced his harem of women they were going to save the world with his super sperm. According to reports, Allison Mack was instrumental in the evolvement of the secret sorority within NXIVM. Women from the inside even say she came up with the idea of branding the women. She also admitted coming up with the idea in a New York Times interview. Given everything I've read on the topic, I have found it extremely hard to see Allison Mack as a villain. Naturally, I am aware of the damage she inflicted on other women. However, I know that Renier groomed her for over 12 years, and it is hard for me to not see her victimization in the story. She was young, impressionable, and looking for direction in her life. Renier calculated every step of her indoctrination. Over time, she became a person her friends didn't even recognize. It's easy for the press and for other women to lash out at Allison Mack. She committed horrible, horrible crimes against other women. However, as a survivor of sexual assault, I understand how mind control and manipulation can change your behavior. I'm empathetic to the fact that despite the despicable crimes she committed, she's not entirely evil. Renier preyed on her vulnerabilities. He convinced her that what they were doing was for the betterment of the world. After years of drinking the Kool-Aid, Renier converted her into a perpetrator. Ultimately, I believe that Allison Mack is a mixture of good and evil. She was an impressionable person that got involved with the wrong group. They brainwashed her and got her engaged in elaborate human trafficking and forced labor crime ring. Many of us refuse to believe we can get involved in a group like NXIVM. However, it's easier than we realize to become involved in cults. We wish to vilify Allison Mack because it's easier to see her as a terrible human than it is to see her as a victim and product of the leader's manipulation. I'm not discounting any of her crimes she has committed. We cannot deny the accounts of the women branded by her and their stories of the torment they experienced at her hands. As much as these women were victims of Allison Mack, she was equally a victim of Keith Renier. The true maniacal and evil person in this entire equation is Keith Renier. He is the man at the top, controlling and teaching all the women beneath him. Every woman that police charged this week, 4 more women got charged, are a product of his manipulation and deceit. We can hate their crimes, but can we genuinely hate these women? They're all good and evil. All the women were exploited, hurt, and abused by Renier over many years. They also committed terrible crimes. When a victim becomes a victimizer, it is easy to lose our empathy for them. However, I choose to see these women in both lights. I have great compassion for their victimization and incredible detest for what they did to others. Finally, the real story in all of this is that we cannot lose sight that Renier is the master puppet of this entire organization. Renier is the real villain. The women are just products of his master plan. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not at all suggesting that this empathy that she has for Allison Mack should be extended onto Josh Ducker. No, I'm not at all suggesting that. If anything, actually, all I'm doing is questioning why doesn't this hate, this vitriol, this detest she has to Josh and others, that she's gone after, why does that not extend to Allison Mack, because there's more than just this, okay? And I'll include the link in the links in the description. But one of the links will be to an article she wrote around this time. And the article was about a mother who took the life of her autistic daughter. Now, Katie writes about this with compassion. She automatically assigned the problem, what caused this tragedy to happen. The cause of this had to have been like caregiver burnout. Like, she immediately went to that. She assigned it. She diagnosed it. There's no telling her otherwise. So when she writes about this situation, she does so from a place of understanding and compassion for the mother and for what the mother must have been feeling and how overwhelmed she must have been to have put her daughter in a car and then drive the car into a river. Yeah. So there's that. Then I also consider it like Micah Stauffer, how crazy hard she went after Micah. Micah didn't even harm her child in any way like this other mother did. Micah adopted this child, realized she was in over her head, as fucked up as that is, that's what happened, and then she rehomed the child. She did the right thing in an overwhelming situation. But Katie just went after her so hard that I'm not sure Micah could ever come back to social media after the damage Katie has done to her. Not saying that the damage isn't rightfully earned. I'm not saying that it's not. I don't know. It could be. I'm just saying that the damage is there. That's all I'm saying. So I wonder, why is it then that someone like Josh and Micah, both, she can go after with such intense, searing hate, but yet this other mother and Allison Mack, she can understand. She can almost relate to them. I wonder if that's it. Because the mother who expired her daughter, she was a mother to an autistic child. Well, Katie can relate to that. And Allison Mack, Allison Mack could have been raised in the same exact town as Katie. I mean, just the similarities between the two of them, just upper middle class white suburban women, yeah. So why is it then that if Katie can relate to these perpetrators, then she can understand and she can really relate to them, and she wants to grow from that. She wants to extend this to people. But when she can't relate to them, I think she would put the noose around their neck herself, really. So why is this relation such a big deal? Why does this relation cause such a drastic difference in how she approaches these events, these people? Why? Is there more to that? I don't know. I'm not saying there is. I'm not really giving any opinion at the moment. I'm asking questions. So, yeah, let me know what you think.